Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of We Should Have Recorded That with Phil and
Adam.
Hey, Adam.
Hey,
How's it
Phil.
going?
I am good. And how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing
I'm
good.
glad to hear that, and I hope our audience is doing well also.
Yes, I hope the same thing. Audience, we are planning on doing a short episode today, so we're kind of speeding through things. Then I want to give a little disclaimer. I'm wearing my school shirt, and so I'm wearing a school polo right now because I didn't have a chance to take it off. So I just want to say,
You don't need
none
to
of
disclaim that.
I mean, no, I just want to say that none of my thoughts represent.
I'm also wearing a school
You
shirt.
also
And
wearing a
yes,
school shirt.
as always, it goes without saying, any thoughts, opinions expressed in this episode do not
Hmm.
necessarily represent those of our blah, 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 blah.
Yes. So the disclaimer is there. We gave it. So, um, yeah. So today we're just gonna kind of talk about our summer plans a little bit here as we are drawing towards the end. Or you are already at the end. You're done. Have you finished? You
I
submitted
have
grades,
submitted my grades, yes.
so you are done.
Oh, it's a beautiful thing.
And yeah, I'm counting down the days we have. Um, I have 7 days left of school. Unofficially, we have 5 days
Mm.
left of school. Be, yeah, and so we could talk about that a little bit later. Um, so Adam, I'll let you go because you actually there's a reason why we are, I should say, a little bit more behind the curtain. We are recording this episode not in June. This is our June episode. We're not recording it in June. And Adam, why are we not recording it in June?
Well, I will be out of the country for the first 2 full weeks of June.
Wow.
So, yeah, I am going to Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
I am very excited about Turkey. I will leave on Monday, June 6th. I fly to New York and then to Helsinki and then to Istanbul. So,
Mm.
like 13, 14 hours in the air with many, many hours long layovers in
Mm-hmm.
each of those cities. And then I'll spend 2 nights in Istanbul before renting a car and going on a
Mm-hmm.
9 day road trip through the western part of Turkey, and then back to Istanbul for 3 more nights before I fly home.
Wow. 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 So the I want to get to I want to get to Turkey, but do you plan on doing anything? Helsinki, is that in
Finland.
Finland?
And
Okay.
no, I am, uh, yeah, Helsinki is just because I am flying on Finnair, and
Okay.
Finnair is just because it is the cheapest.
But do you
So
but do
there's
you
no,
plan
I
on?
won't be doing it. I won't be leaving the airport.
Oh, okay. You'll stay in there for
Yeah,
okay.
I think that layover is only 2.5 hours. So,
Okay. Not
um,
long enough. No.
yeah, by the time that I got to downtown, I would need to turn around and go
And
back to the
come back.
airport. Yeah.
Right. So what are your plans in Turkey? Like, are you planning to look at some specific? Are you going for some specific sites or something?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I self plan all of my own vacations. I don't. I have not yet done any sort of like group travel,
Mm-hmm.
um, but I am. Um, yeah, I will be. Here, let me pull up my itinerary and I'll tell you.
Okay.
So yes, Istanbul on Wednesday, June 8th, doing a full day of sightseeing there. Then driving on Thursday, June 9th, I will stop in Bursa, which is the birthplace of the Ottoman Empire. I will stop in Pergamon, from the New
Mm-hmm.
Testament, as well as Smyrna and Ephesus from the New
Mm.
Testament.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the next day, some more time in Ephesus, and then stop in Alasahir, which is the current name for the ancient city of Philadelphia from the Old
New
Testament.
Testament.
New Testament, that's sorry, that's what I meant. And then Pamukkala, or sorry, Pamukkale is how I guess we say it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be there, spending the night there, and getting to go to Laodicea and Colossae from the New Testament.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, then leaving the area of the country that is featured in the New Testament and going to Antalya with a stop in the Butterfly Valley. Um, Worship in Antalya on Sunday, June 12th at St. Paul Union Church, and then a bunch of sightseeing in Antalya, Hadrian's Gate, the Duden Waterfalls, etc. Uh, then driving from Antalya to Cappadocia. All of that is from the New Testament. Cappadocia
That
is
is.
mentioned in the New
Mm-hmm.
Testament.
And,
Um,
and and we should say that this is the New Testament of the Christian Bible, just for our
yes,
uninitiated
thank
listeners.
you.
No
Thank
problem.
you. Yes, I don't want to forget that. So yes, I'll be in Cappadocia and spending the night, spending 2 nights in a cave hotel in a
Wow.
cave.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, if you are on Instagram, you see pictures from Turkey and you see all of the hot air balloons and the fairy chimney valley. That's Cappadocia. Um, so,
Okay.
or I think the locals call it Cappadocia, but most English speakers say Cappadocia.
Cappadocia.
So, yeah, so that is going to be really beautiful. And then 2 nights in Ankara, the capital city,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then back to Istanbul for more sightseeing. Let's see, I'm there Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night before I leave on Monday, June 20th, for a marathon day of flying from Istanbul to Helsinki, an hour layover there, Helsinki to New York JFK, and let's see, a six, nope, an oh, this is gonna be awful, an 8 hour layover at JFK before getting on
Coming back.
a flight home to Rochester and arriving at 12:02 a.m.
Mm.
on Tuesday, June 21st.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds like a very full time. That would be great. So I would love to hear about that when you come back.
You will, I promise.
So for me in the month of June, Anais' first birthday is this Friday, Saturday.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So yeah, she turns 1 year old this Saturday, and we're actually going to have a small little gathering for her this weekend, and so we're doing things for that, planning that. And so that is the beginning of June. Wendy's birthday is also in June, and so we'll do some things. And I actually, for me, this summer, I'm going to be doing some music at VBS's and at the VBS at my school and the VBS at the church where can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, at the VBS where I attended the church. And so that's going to be June for us, and in July we will planning to go to hopefully planning to go to Puerto Rico. So
Oh, fantastic. Have you been to Puerto Rico before?
this will be my first time.
It's I've only been there once, and it was on a choir tour, but I really
Oh,
thought
really?
it was magical. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, Wendy's like I want to go. So we're gonna do that. So yeah, those are my plans right now, and so we'll see how things um see how things pan out.
that's amazing, Phil.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Any other excitement in store for your summer?
I've actually the in the past maybe few weeks I've started doing some voiceover work. Um, and it's been intense and a good experience. I mean, because you want, like, I'm actually doing voiceover singing and dubbing for another, like, a um foreign language cartoon that I'm doing the singing in English, and they needed a low voice, and so hey, I'm your guy. I'm not, not the
Phil,
lowest
that's
voice,
awesome.
but yeah, it's been a great experience, and so I'm hoping that maybe during the summer I could do some more of that. And of course, Anais is walking, is walking with assistance, and so hopefully, she will start walking unassisted, and we
Hmm.
can, do more things outside and those type of things. And so I'm excited about that as well. And so yeah, just a
That's
lot of,
great.
yeah. So those are kind of the things I have going on. Then that will probably be some most of my summer. Just
Hmm.
spending now, being able to take her outside, and do things with her. And like I said, we'll do some traveling, um, during, to various places. Our traveling would probably be. I hope maybe we can go home, go to my home in Alabama, and as a family, we'll see when Wendy's available, and have everyone see her who can't come to us all the way down in Miami. So,
Yeah, yeah.
hmm
Very exciting.
yeah. So those are my plans so far. Before we are, I know you have another meeting to go to, so maybe we can transition to some current event type things. Um,
Yes. Well, probably as you can, as you probably suspect, the current event that has been heaviest on my heart recently have been these two mass shootings back to back.
hmm
First in Buffalo at the Tops grocery store, and then in Uvalde, Texas, at the elementary school. Um, it's just heartbreaking, and um, I don't remember what the stages of grief are,
hmm
but I have definitely experienced both sadness and anger um, over the sin that pervades our society, the sin that pervades our society at every level, and the sin that pervades our society totally unchecked, totally with with support from people in power.
mm. Yeah, I mean that has to be my current event as well. I Before this, my thoughts were, can we just have sensible um leadership, in government,
Mm-hmm.
and especially in government. Um I think about my principal, and I'm sure even the administration there at Roberts, and people on the ground, like you have to take care of things. If they don't take care of things at Roberts, Roberts will cease to
Mm-hmm.
exist.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't take care of things at our school and at various schools, these places will not exist. And
Yes.
yet our supposedly public servants, our politicians, are not sensible, and they're
Yes.
just saying, okay, this thing will keep going as long as I just can make it from one election to another, and I can keep advancing in my efforts for power. The
Yes.
Everything else will be fine, and it's
Yes.
not gonna be fine.
Exactly. It's not going to be fine. Um, the ideology of self, the
Mm-hmm.
you know rejection of really common sense measures, um,
Mm-hmm.
not because they don't make sense, because they do, but because they will not advance that particular politician's base
Right.
audience. It's time to stop pandering.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
time to stop pandering to special interests and
Yes.
start worrying about the general good.
Yes. Yeah. In the fact that the majority of us, like you're saying, the majority of us are we want to send our children to school and
Mm-hmm.
expect that they will be there safely. We want to be able to provide for them. We want to be able to enjoy our earth without
Mm-hmm.
concern that that we're either being poisoned or something, or that it won't be here in 5 years or whatever. These things are not, they're not extreme.
Right.
They're not unreasonable. These are just reasonable things. And and even and if you ask the person, I think, who is in the who are those fringes, I think those people, they gone to the fringe because they've given up on being sensible.
Yep.
They've given up on saying what should be happening.
Right.
And it feels better to just to be angry, because I think it's an easy thing just to say, okay, I am gonna point the finger at
Mm-hmm.
this person or that person.
Yes.
And
Yes.
maybe there are some people we should be pointing the finger at. But I think it's a lot easier for us to do that versus saying, um, let's just be sensible. I'm not saying we should take every gun. I'm not saying, um, you know, we should restrict this or that. But there are some sensible things we can do.
Yeah. We've talked about this before, Phil, but one of my goals in life is to be as consistent as I can be. And of course, no one is completely consistent, right? I will
Right.
have inconsistencies in my life. I will not always live my life by the values that I claim to
Mm-hmm.
believe in. I am a hypocrite in some areas,
Mm-hmm.
but I would really love for people who claim to be originalists to the United States Constitution actually believe that.
Mm.
The Second Amendment does give us the right to bear arms. So, what arms existed when the Constitution was written? I think everyone should have the right to own a single bullet musket
You gotta load. You
that
gotta
takes
load
5 minutes
everything.
to reload.
You gotta load the bullet, and then with the powder, you gotta put it on.
I think I I think that is totally fine. And if you're a constitutional originalist who supports constitutional originalism,
Mm-hmm.
then you should have no problem with that.
I think you're onto something, but that exposes the hypocrisy and the like you said, just the individualism. I'm gonna use this for my self interest,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and
Yes.
I'm gonna use this for my self interest. Even on even on every issue that we're facing right now. I just, again, if you care about people, how do you then govern? If
Yes.
you care about people, what choices do you make for the best, for the
Yes.
best of all the people, for the best of the majority of the people, or for the best that you think would help everybody in the situation? I remember the CEO. I was listening to the CEO of Whole Foods talking about the difference between like a win lose situation, or what he called was like, I guess, a win win win. All parties
Mm.
win. I win. The I forget, the maybe the shareholders win, and maybe our consumers win. Everybody, can we look for solutions where we find a way where everybody wins as much as possible? Um, but yeah. So.
And I think those solutions exist, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
those, like, don't. I think it would be wrong for the government to confiscate legally obtained weapons from
Mm-hmm.
law abiding citizens. I think that would be wrong. But a buyback program where people can voluntarily sell their weapons back
Mm-hmm.
to, to police departments or whatever, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
I, if I was a gun owner and needed some extra cash, that would be very attractive an option to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because really,
It,
I mean, how many guns does one need? Like,
I mean,
how many guns does one need for sport?
right. Yeah. I mean, you could. I mean, at least all you at most you could shoot two in one hand. You know, when
But you're probably not doing that when you're deer hunting, right?
probably I would think not, especially if you want to eat the deer. Like you're probably
Yes,
not just exploding the deer.
yes.
Um,
So
but
oh, it's very deeply concerning to me.
but my last thought, and I know you really do have to go, and so I want to be conscious of the time. But the again, because like we said, we try to be consistent, and we try to think in this like these principled ways. Like if caring about people, again, and then also wanting to speak life and empowerment
Mm-hmm,
into
mm-hmm.
people, and we're teachers, and so like on one hand, like it breaks my heart that to see that those elementary students, so many of them not only died, but so many saw their classmates die.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely horrifying.
Like that breaks my heart, and I don't know how how you begin to try to talk to your students because of that, and also thinking about the shooter, and the fact that he was 18,
Mm-hmm.
and again, I'm like, I want to look at that student who may be troubled and say, you are loved, I care about you, I don't know what all may be going on, but as your teacher, I care about you, and you're important, and whatever you're thinking about doing, that for whatever reason, make sure that it's out of a place of love, because that's what you have here.
Yes,
That's what you're going to experience here. And
yes.
so, yeah.
I'm with you.
So, well.
Well, yes, as you said, I am up against a hard deadline. So, dear audience, on that somewhat depressing note, I will wish you a happy June. Whenever this episode is released, I may be in Turkey or I may be have returned from Turkey. Um, but I'm happy that I got to spend this time with you, Phil. And
Same.
I will look forward to another conversation, a WSRTwPA conversation in July.
Oh, same here. Thank you.
All right. Well, then, bye for now.
Adios.